We got unfortunate news, man. Tyrone Tracy did go down in training camp, and you hate to see it. You hate to see injuries overall, but especially injuries like this one. It was reported during practice, man. They were doing a kickoff, and it seemed like he muffed the kick, went down to grab the ball, and instantly just went down in pain. It looked like his leg buckled a bit. He yelled out in pain, and they went out, carted him off the field, also put an air cast on his ankle, and it's said to be an ankle injury. Now, at the time that this injury happened, instantly I'm just like, man, that's terrible because, he was really working himself out into a big role for this offense. And let alone for his rookie season, there was a lot of promise coming forward for his career and for the Giants' sake. And now here he is. We're still seeking to really find exactly what it is. But knowing that it's an ankle injury, I just hope it's nothing, tendon related. I don't want to see an Achilles, ACL, because those really have a lot more downtime to really try to get back on the field pretty much. If you break a bone, it's just as bad. And trust me, even if he misses any time, I hate to see it. But, at least a broken bone, a broken ankle, you can maybe try to get that back up to fully heal. And we know bones heal differently than ligaments, man. I myself tore my ACL when I was in high school. This is about 6 years now, and I still deal with it to this day. 6 to 7 years ago, still have problems with it to this day. So I can't imagine an athlete like that having to use those, tendons and ACLs and stuff like that. But prayers up for Tyrone Tracy. As we know, he did go out in this first preseason game, had a couple of carries, and we were excited. We were excited with what Tyrone Tracy could bring to this team. Ultimately, once again, we saw the contact balance, we saw everything. So for him to have, potentially an IR injury that he could be gone for all of this year and try to come back and rehab next year, it's very unfortunate. Once again, it's very unfortunate. And for us as Giants fans, injuries are something that we're used to, and it's sad. It's just sad because injuries just always come our way. I don't know how it is for other 31 franchises. As you know, a lot of people, do get hurt in this league. That's why this league is called the NFL, and it stands for some people, not for long. People don't stay in this league for a long time because injuries do come their way, or they end up just phasing out of the game. And once again, the one thing that can't get overlooked is that Tyrone Tracy is not a young rookie running back. This guy's 25 years of age, getting drafted onto his team. And that's why we maybe felt like he was more pro-ready and potentially, already into his grown man body. Now, coming off of, once again, could be a potential season-ending injury, trying to come back from that and also still get your reps in the NFL. It's going to be tough, man. But prayers up for Tyrone Tracy. Definitely hope if there's any news that we hear, hopefully it's anything positive, and hopefully it's not him being out for the whole year. Hopefully. That's what we can only hope, man. So shout out to Tyrone Tracy, and hopefully everything gets good, man. Another injury that we got to talk about, which I didn't really drop a video on because, honestly, I didn't see it as too crazy of an injury. It sucks that it happened. But Malik Nabers seemed like he twisted up his ankle or has some type of ankle sprain. But luckily, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything serious. He definitely should be ready by week 1. He said that to the media today after training camp practice. So him being ready for week 1 should be the priority. I did tweet out earlier, I just said that there's a lot more to gain. There's a lot more to lose than to gain playing him in these preseason games. Of course, you want to see him get live reps in the game, but week 1 should be the priority. You don't want to have him test that ankle out if it's not 100% and potentially get even more damage in a preseason game. That's not what we want. And I will say the parallels are kind of crazy. If you remember any type of wide receiver that was dynamic for us recently, Odell Beckham Jr. also had an ankle sprain, but he actually missed games before he ended up starting off the season for the New York Giants that year. Malik Nabers twists up his ankle, and once again, a lot of people are going to point to the trainers, the field, like, what is it? What is it that's causing our guys to really get hurt before it even kicks off? It happens all the time. Darren Waller's the guy that gets hurt every year, but it happened to Darren Waller last year. It continues to happen to certain receivers that you really need to key on them to being healthy, and it doesn't work out that way. I don't know what it is. If other franchises go through that, if you're from another franchise and you're a fan of another team, let us know in the comments, man. Because once again, in practice is when this happens, and that's the annoying part. In the games, they come and go, but in practice, when you're only against your own guys and you end up getting injuries like this and not producing a single snap for us, it sucks. It sucks overall, man. So where does it shape out, the rooms altogether? For the wide receiver room, obviously that bumps up a wide receiver to potentially make more plays for these preseason games and try to make a crack at this roster. You look at the guys like Isaiah McKenzie, you still got Isaiah Hodgins on that bubble, Ayir Asante, John Giles, Bryce Ford Wheaton. They're going to get more opportunities with, one guy down in Malik Nabers in the preseason games to try to crack this roster, they're going to have to put their best foot forward, and that's what preseason's for. When you look at the running back position, Dante Miller, it looks like he's going down with, not going down, but, he has some type of hamstring injury, which, once again, being a Giants fans, you see injuries all over the place. Hopefully Dante Miller is all good, and it's not something that lingers on completely, because then this running back room kind of gets very thin. It already was a little thin when you think about the vets that we are missing. Devin Singletary is going to be the vet, and then we had Tyrone Tracy, Eric Gray, and Dante Miller behind them. Losing Tyrone Tracy could potentially mean the Giants have to go out and get another running back. See who's available on that free agent market. I saw someone tweeting earlier about Leonard Fournette. I don't see that happening, but we might have to bring a guy in if Tyrone Tracy's down for a while, because looking at it without him, you do worry a little bit. Eric Gray looked good in his first preseason game, serving as an RB2. Could be best fit for him. He could be best fit, but we'll see, man. We'll see overall. But once again, when injuries go down, there's only opportunities for more players to kind of come up and make some plays and, get a spot on this roster. So hopefully that festers up for some of these guys. And we already felt comfortable with some of the running backs. Losing one definitely does suck. But once again, I still like the core group of guys that we have. And knowing that we're not going to be relying on them all in totality for 80 carries, we're still going to be airing out this ball. I'm looking to see what these guys will do in preseason and what it'll translate into the week one. Overall, once again, not really too much to touch on these practices. Daniel Jones has some good practices. Now, I didn't see too much about today, but yesterday he had some good practices, good throws to Jalen Hyatt. I'll post them up there right now. Jalen Hyatt looking improved, man. He's looking improved. One of the biggest opportunities for him was getting better route running, not just running past guys. And yes, he still has that speed to run past guys, but knowing that he could really break down a DB and potentially get open is what you want to see out of Jalen Hyatt. That's what he needs to prove on. And it's good to see Daniel Jones getting that rapport with him, because this is a guy that he needs to target 4 or 5 times a game, at least 4 or 5 times a game. Because no one, Jalen Hyatt, out of all the receivers, when you think about Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Nabers, he's going to get the least amount of targets, but potentially, big plays. That's what you want. Jalen Hyatt is a deep threat. You need to get him the ball. And even, we got reporters talking about Daniel Jones shaking off that rust and, actually throwing the deep ball well now, which we all knew Daniel Jones, that's one of his strong suits. Sometimes he doesn't pull the trigger. That's the issue, but he has the talent to do it. So he needs to continue to fester that and really turn that into his own game, especially heading into the season and potentially his last year as a New York Giant. We'll see. But he needs to ball out this season. Going to Jalen Hyatt is going to be super important for him. And once again, man, thinking about where this offense can be, it's all going to be hinged on what Daniel Jones can do. He needs to throw it to his receivers. He needs to throw it to his guys. And he needs to trust them. He needs to. If he doesn't pull the trigger, this is going to be his last year on the Giants. I'm sorry. It really will be. So hopefully he's able to continue to do that into the season, man. Overall, defensively, Tyler Nubin hopefully continues to work his way into that starting role. You really want to see Tyler Nubin over Dane Belton. That's what I want, especially drafting him in the second round. And knowing the capability he has on this defense. You saw him lay down that wood on that, offensive guard. You want to see him continue to make plays out there. And we didn't really see too much ball hawking ability in that first game. But through the preseason, I think you'll expect a little bit more out of that. And DBs, man, Cordell Flott remains sidelined. Cordell Flott has all but lost that job, in my opinion, the CB2. I think they're going to have to go out and sign one before the season starts. But who's out there and who do they like? That's going to remain to be unseen. I want to know what they feel about Trey Herndon. I know he is not the player that he once was, but him coming along on this practice squad and on this training camp team, I'm looking to see if he can crack this roster and potentially be out there. I don't know if they like him as a CB2 or not. He hasn't got the reps like Nick McLeod has, but we got to try something, man. This DB room is young. It does worry me a bit, but that's why I'm not against bringing in another guy to serve as another cornerback opposite of Deonte Banks. That's what I want to see, man. But overall, man, that's everything we got to touch on for the moment. If I hear anything about, Tyrone Tracy, I'll be sure to drop anything. And if you're new to the channel, man, subscribe down below. Road to 10K still active, man. We got more content coming through. We got this Saturday's, preseason game. I'll be dropping my preview on who to watch and what we're looking for overall. You're going to see the starters out there, and that's what we really want to see. We want to see Daniel Jones in game action the first time in over a year. So we're excited to see that. You guys let me know how you feel down below, man, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.